Lord, grant me the serenity to understand the things I cannot change. Grant me the courage to change the things that I can. And grant me the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today. Amen. Away from me.
You close to the edge, just don't move. My brother said his lawyer just gave him some bad news. Police found the drugs that were stashed in the bathroom. Not only that, but his court date approaching us fast too. So tell me what to do. Lord, you only seek the truth. If you want to bear fruit, then it needs to abide in you. If you seek transformation, it happens in solitude. Since I never had a shot, God threw me the alley-oop. I believe I can fly. Let me mingle with the angels. Heaven's in my peripheral, I see it from an angle.
What's up, good people? Welcome, and welcome to the Bro Goat Show. It's your boy, Bro Troy, aka Mr. Y4C, but better known as Coach TJ. And this show is sponsored by Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza. Make sure to visit your local Papa Murphy's Pizza retail store near you and load up on fresh, made-to-order, gluten-free Take and Bake pizzas, desserts, and salads. Make sure to use that mobile app for faster service and to earn additional savings. Now, for those who are new to the Bro Coat Show, the Bro Coat Show is a live talk show to discuss, uncover, justify, and dismantle the issues that concern us most as brothers, as family, and in the community. We like to give that to you raw, uncut, and real respectful. Now, our greatest desire is to embrace everyone in positive, popular conversation. So no, we're not in the business of bashing or belittling anyone, but we do believe in being comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations. Why? Because that's where understanding starts. So as Grandma would say, let's chew the meat and spit out the bone. Fellas, it's been an interesting week, man. You got a lot going on, man. Talk to me, man. Bro Kirk, how you feeling, man?
I feel great. We've been busy.
Yeah, man.
Right?
You know, I don't even like that word. I like productive.
Oh, that's a better way to say it. We've been productive.
Because we're perpetual, right?
Yeah.
This has to be a wheel that's in motion. Yeah. Because where you're stagnant is disease. Man, we too dope for that.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Indeed. Bro Smith, what's good, man?
Oh, just enjoying life, man. Glad to be here. Glad to have an opportunity to talk with the wonderful judge in person and not just behind the screen. Yeah. So excited for the conversation.
Indeed. Well, let's get into this, man. Really quickly, there's been a lot that's been going on in the world, in our city. I think one of the earliest things, you sent me a text earlier, man, and I know it's a saddening thing, it's a death, but what was going on with that, man?
So the rapper Young Dolph was murdered, shot and killed.
Memphis, Tennessee. I heard earlier on, and we say that life and death comes in the tongue, right? There's power in the words that we speak. And there was I guess you could say a showing off, right? Because that didn't come to him. I think he was shot at numerous times.
Oh, yeah.
And he got past it, and I believe, and don't quote me on this or correct me if I'm wrong, made a big deal out of it to say like he was unstoppable or untouchable.
Put a song out, 100 shots.
I think that's a touching thing. Clearly, death comes for all of us, and there is a pandemic on our young black males. I think that speaks volume to the work that we do, gentlemen, and why every day it's become not just a one-off, but a lifestyle. And that's a testimony, not to just the work that needs to be done in Memphis, but worldwide in the nation, and really a call to action for those that are looked at as change agents to stand up and speak out. So condolences to the family and anyone that's been hurt by that. But I guess I would hope that as many of the other things that keep happening, especially the things that we do to ourselves as a culture, right? Those are the things that we can control, that we can really tap into that more frequently, man. So, on another note, when we talk about mentoring and the things that we do in the community, man, you talked about being busy. We did another event yesterday. As legs of our works continue to extend like an octopus, Y4C being at the head, walking in our purpose of sparking creative mindsets in youth continues to broaden. Talk to us about that, man. What are your thoughts?
So, the church. Let's talk about the church. Let's go to church. And we had an episode with 15 youth, and we just walked in and encouraged them. Sometimes a lot of the mentoring we do, we don't talk about God, right?
Yeah.
Because in some of the spaces we go in, we're told we can't.
Yeah.
But it was kind of encouraging to go into the church.
That is true, man.
Right?
So shout out to Pastor Robinson at Juniper Level Missionary Baptist Church. I had to make sure I said that real slow. Get all them initials in there. But shout out to you, Pastor Robinson. We look forward to that work. And something we did with Judge Ashleigh not too long ago over at AHOP. Yeah, ACLA. Shout out to Coach Dane, Coach Fields over at ACLA. We got a chance to talk about knowing your rights, doing small group activities and role playing, and had some fun. Right? Had some fun. Talk to us about that. Talk to me. Things like that, you do a lot, Judge, right? Like, when we look at your page, you're somewhere everywhere. And you can go from T-shirts and jeans to elegant and getting your Beyonce on. And I think that being a chameleon in the community is a skill. It's a gift. So outside of the work that we did that day, why is that important to you?
I mean, it was what you talked about earlier, and it's our youth, right? It's our kids. That's what it's all about. It's about reaching them. It's about encouraging them because they're going through a lot, right? As children, what we had to deal with, but now we have that dynamic of social media. We have that dynamic of the internet and all these things that were kind of just coming up as we were there. But seeing the impact that it's having on the mental health of our children is really what's so important to me. And I saw it before I was a judge, but even more so being a judge, I was like, oh no, I've got to step out here and make sure that we are educating our kids and loving on them. That's why I love the work that you all do and support the work that you all do, especially for our young black men as well. Sure. It's important to see people that look like you, and that's really why I want to become a judge, and that's really why it's important for me to be visible and be out in the community for people to see that I'm a regular person with a family, and I'm not perfect by any means. I'm just a regular person. But my job is not to judge people, it's to help people.
Well, I think that's a great segue, right? So thank you for that. We talk about being human and being a regular person, so I'm going to give you 90 seconds. So for those out there who don't know, you've already used the word judge, right? We've talked about the impact that you've made in the community, but let's put some respect on your name. So I want you to look into that camera right there, and in 90 seconds or less, run me your resume.
All right, well, I'm from Hickory, North Carolina, born and raised. From Catawba County, if you can't hear in the accent a little bit. And I grew up in the church. Grew up with my mom and my dad. My dad was actually the first black prosecutor on the western side of the state. So I grew up watching him, and also myself dealing with a lot of racism, a lot of racist individuals, a lot of people that were holding him back from just wanting to do great things in the community, similar to the things I'm trying to do, he also wanted to do. I say all the time, I stand on his shoulders, right? I ended up going to Wake Forest University because I wanted to be a doctor. I think we're going to talk more about that later. Ended up going there to do that. That did not pan out very well. So my junior year, ended up going to the North Carolina Central University School of Law, which is where my father attended. And I knew I wanted to be a prosecutor, and I thought I wanted to be a career prosecutor. That was the plan. I was grateful to graduate from there and end up at the Wake County District Attorney's Office. I served there for 2 years. At the time, I was the only black female out of about 40-some attorneys at that point. We can get more into why I became a judge or kind of how God spoke to me, but the short of it is, one day I looked out in the audience and it was full of individuals that looked like me. And I looked up on the bench and that was not represented. And I literally feel like I heard God call me at that point and say, God, he said, Ashley, there's more for you. I said, no, I'm good. I'll pass. I'm good right here. But thankful for my mentors that looked out for me. So many judges on the bench that of similar color who looked out and mentored me through that process. I ended up leaving the DA's office, going to the Attorney General's office, representing the Division of Motor Vehicles, which gave me a great opportunity to travel the state, see a lot of different judges, see a lot of different individuals, ensure that our roadways are safe. And that was that job. But then in 2017, I was offered the opportunity by Governor Cooper to serve the citizens as a district court judge. I was 30 years old. I was the third and youngest African-American female to ever serve in this position when the courts were established over 50 years ago. I say that not to applaud myself, but I say that to say how sad it is that in Wake County, the capital county of North Carolina, we're talking about somebody being the third in 2017 of something. So today marks my 4th anniversary on the bench, so that was...
Congratulations.
We're not going to skim over that, right?
We're going to hold up.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So, that was fine. So it's 4 years. I have served in all of the different courtrooms in so many different capacities, learned so much over the last several years, and just blessed and grateful to be in this position to hopefully effectuate change and to continue to do that both on and off the bench.
We admire, we celebrate, and appreciate you and all the work that you do. Representation does matter. And you're right. That is a large part of the reason why, as black unicorns and baldhead greatness, that we do what we do. So I indeed appreciate that. Now, you mentioned something when we were talking about putting respect in your name. Just so y'all know, put some respect on her name now. So, and wanting to be a doctor. So I'm curious. Let's make believe that was true. Let's make believe that everything that you wanted did happen. Mm-hmm. So, let's say it was true. Which one of these hospital TV series do you think you would most relate to?
Okay.
So we got ER,
okay,
Hawthorne, or Grey's Anatomy, and why?
So I have not watched any of those shows. So I have no
idea. Do you like hospital shows? Any of them? None?
I don't even like Law and Order. I don't even like law shows that are fake. Now I love some Snapped, like some real crime documentaries on Netflix. Like, oh my gosh, I will watch those.
Law and Order is fake. They don't solve crimes in 30 minutes. Oh man,
I know.
They undefeated, right?
Shocking.
They've never not solved a crime.
We could try a whole trial, like a day, 4 day, week, 2 week, 3 week trial.
Oh, so it ain't so.
I know. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I was waiting on the answer to that question too. Just shot me down. What you got, bro Smith? My question just sucks. I'm gonna throw a card at the camera.
I'm waiting for the first paper cut. Man. Now, Judge Ashleigh, you're being incredibly humble. I was looking at your page, and I'd imagine your wall at your house is just littered with plaques and degrees and combinations. So you're one of the National Black Lawyers Top 100, North Carolina's Top 40 under 40, Black Catawba County honoree. And the list goes on. It would look like a CVS receipt, by the time I'm done reading it. But
the discounts.
Are there any awards out of all of the accolades, not diminishing, any of them, that stick out more to you as that's my favorite. Like that's the one that I put as soon as you walk in the house type thing.
So I don't have anything in my house as far as my awards or anything along those lines. They all go to work. Mm-hmm. I'm never in my office, honestly. I'm literally on the bench and I'm in chambers, so I never even get to go to my office. It's like dust in there. I mean, but I hang those in my office because it's more of a representative of what God has done. And I would like if somebody were to walk past my office that they can see the work that God has done. More so, to me, I personally don't look at those. I appreciate and I'm grateful for anything that anybody honors me for, but I give all glory to Him at the end of the day, and so that's where all of those actually are, unfortunately, collecting dust.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna try a different question now. I'm gonna reload.
Sorry, y'all.
I'm gonna reload. Let's try this one now. You talked about TV. You don't watch the law shows and different things. I had learned something right before this show in regards to judges. You talk about representation, and you see a decent amount of representation, at least on TV. Especially with black female judges. One, is there a particular judge that you like over the others? And is that real? Like, are these official judges, or is this all for the camera?
So, no, I don't watch any of those either because I'm at work when they're on TV. But when I was on maternity leave, my mom was at the house and she was watching a bunch of them. I think they're all great. I think they're great at what they do. There's obviously an entertainment factor to it. I can tell you personally, I have felt like I've been on the Judge Ashleigh show. I've actually said from the bench, y'all are making me feel like this is the Judge Ashleigh show, like I'm being pranked, like there's cameras everywhere. Just some of the things that I hear. But it's not real. In the sense that people have agreed that they will allow this person to pretty much mediate and arbitrate their case for them. But as far as what you see in the courtroom, I would say there are times they could be extremely, extremely dull. What's happening in the courtroom. People would not probably just want to watch a camera that's just put in there. But there are times that it is extremely entertaining as far as some of the things that people will say anything to get at somebody else. And then there are times, that's extremely sad. And I think that if we did put a camera in the courtroom, I think it would be impactful for people because I feel so many times they see that on TV and they think that this is how life is, this is how it is. And here I'm like, no. How y'all going to be interacting? We're going to stay respectful. This is an actual courtroom. This is an actual court of law. So I do have to have those conversations a lot because I feel like people look at TV and say, that's how I'm going to act. Right.
Not up here. I love it. I love it.
So in regards to just building representation and taking those younger individuals that are trying to aspire to be where you're at, What would you say are some of the top qualities a person like yourself should have, both when they're learning and as they get to your level?
I would definitely say that humility piece, like you said earlier, I can always learn and I always need to learn. But I also need to remember where I came from. So it's always important for me to bring, so if someone reaches out to me and says, hey, can I shadow you? Absolutely. So I constantly have young people coming into the courtroom, watching and observing, answering any questions, trying to get on Zooms with people when it was virtual or phone calls. Like I'll talk to anybody about kind of my journey. I never get tired of doing that. And I can't tire of doing that because it's important to do that work. And I think that for me, it's going back to looking at where we were, where we are. Like I said, I think that humility piece, not being afraid to ask questions, and also not being afraid to accept constructive criticism, understanding that you're not perfect, understanding that you have areas to grow in. I'm not always going to do everything the right way. I'm not perfect on the bench. I'm a human, right? But I'm trying to do my best. I think I said that in my post earlier today. Like I try my best every day. I try to get it right. And I think that's the piece that anybody can do is always learning, knowing that you can grow in anything that you do, but also pulling back and reaching back is always important.
Appreciate it.
Love it. Judge Ashleigh, you put up a number 4. Yep. So I want to talk about 2 numbers.
Okay.
We're going to start with number 4,
okay,
and then we're going to jump to number 9.
Okay.
Right? So number 4.
I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, number 4.
Okay.
Your 4th year.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your journey and like maybe one thing that you're like, wow, I didn't know this. And just like full circle.
Okay, so when the governor called me for the interview, he asked me, he said, what do you think the biggest challenge is going to be when you become a judge? And my answer was, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
It's a very good interview answer.
Well, you would think it's the worst answer, right? But it was the best answer because it literally was like, until I get there, I'm not going to know what's going to happen. You know, I'm sitting there and as a lawyer, I'm judging judges, right? Oh, this way and all that way and all this, that, and the third and all that, you know, and they should be like this or they should rule this way or whatever else. You get up there and it's like, wow, right? Think about, I tell people all the time, it's like, if you want to know what it's like to be a judge, take one situation and listen to all the facts of it and do not make a judgment call until you hear the other side. Somebody calls you up and they say, this is my side of the story, da 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 da, blah 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 blah. You do not make a judgment call on that. There have been so many times I've started to hear a case and I said, well, state got it. Well, plaintiff got it. Nope. Boom. Actually, no. Back up. Be neutral. Right? Back up from that. Listen to the other side. Hear the other side. Wow. Completely different. Right? When you can do that neutral piece, that takes a lot of training and it takes a lot of listening. And those are things that I've developed over the years. So that was something I did not have very early on as well. And I'm continuing to develop that as well. And bias, right? Something that we all have. It's something that implicit biases, things that we don't even know about. So, you know, I'm really huge even in the judicial community and the legal community about raising awareness about implicit biases from the bench and how that can come out in decisions that you're making and sentencing that you're doing. And so all of those things are definitely something that I did not know, but are continually learning and trying to grow.
So for our listeners, you heard Judge Ashleigh say, listen to both sides before you make a judgment. That's a life skill. That's right. Very important.
Yes.
So the number 9, November 4th, 2012, you said I do.
I did.
So you're celebrating your 9th year anniversary, right? And you're very big about family.
Yeah.
Now I only know that because I see it, right? Can you speak to us on how valuable it is to have a supportive husband and kids as we talk about you and what you do, all of it, I guess, as a judge?
Absolutely. So I met my husband in law school, and he's a man of God. Turns out we went to the same church, didn't know it. Church was really big, so in different service times. So we find out we go to the same church the very first night we met, and very early on we were dating. Like I said, I'm in law school, I'm in my 2nd year, and he says, I had a dream that you're going to be a judge one day. Literally laughed at him. Laughed so hard. I was like, you're crazy. I don't even know you like that, but that's crazy, right? And he was like, no, I see myself, because he does videography, so I see myself doing commercials for you. And I was like, okay, whatever. So this was 2011, right? So 2012, we're married. 2013, 2014. I mean, the whole time he's kind of in my ear, like, you're going to be a judge one day. Like, you're going to be a judge one day. So, to me, I look at my husband and I think about the support that he always provided, even early on, how he spoke that into my life, even before I even saw it. I wasn't even barred, licensed, a DA, nothing, I wasn't anything yet, and he was already speaking hope and a future and life into me, right? And so fast forward to, when it was actually time to run. And the backstory is I did not get the appointment. There were 2 appointments that came up in 2017. There was one in February. I did not get that one. But even during that, I was running and campaigning, and he was so supportive. We had just had a child. He was barely one, and he was, making sure he's got the kids right now, watching the children and just supporting me and all the things that I was doing and just encouraging me. And that was just so important to me. And so when I think about where I am, I could not have gotten here without my parents, obviously, God, and of course, him. And so I'm grateful for him for that.
Wow.
I think he better be watching. I think he is.
He
always watches.
Thumbs up, D. Thumbs up right now. Like and share, D, right now. For those that are watching on Facebook, we appreciate you diving into this conversation with the Honorable Judge Ashleigh Parker-Dunston. We're going to continue this conversation. Go to our YouTube page, Bro Code TV. Like, subscribe, share, tell a mama's mama to be prepared for this conversation. Feel free to go to our Instagram page at Bro Code Show and keep up with all of the courageous conversations. This show is sponsored by Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza. Make sure to visit your local Papa Murphy's Pizza retail store near you and load up on fresh, made-to-order, gluten-free take and bake pizzas, desserts, and salads. Now make sure to use that mobile app for faster and to earn additional savings.
had 99 problems. Ain't got one now, the hood still crazy. Police getting gunned down, the devil on the loose. From sun up to sundown, these kids ain't fighting no more. Not even one round, I don't condone violence. Ain't the one to ride, I've been fighting with the flesh so long, I'm getting tired. And God said I kept prolonging what he desired. I was busy throwing rocks at the pen, fighting Goliath. It was me against the giants, a cat against the lions. They booked me for robbery, plus I had a couple priors. But everything changed on that day I met Kaya. She the best I ever had, so of course I had to wife her. I hope you didn't catch that, if so don't judge me. I be spreading the message on the corner where the thugs be. And Rock said be careful when the world start to love me. I've been getting recognition, a lot I'm starting to work.
For tomorrow, you ain't promised today. Or could you walk on water if you don't stand on faith? It's like I'm going through circles, I'm in that same old place. I see you closing the curtains, but I got something to say. I got something to say. GTD, stand up. I mean, I just don't get it, as if they can't see you making the way. City lights, what up? He's preparing the way. City lights, what up? How could you live for tomorrow if you ain't promised today? Or could you walk on water if you don't stand on faith? It's like I'm going through circles, I'm in that same old place. I see you tomorrow if you ain't promised today. Or could you walk on water if you don't stand on faith? It's like I'm going through.
Welcome back to the Bro Coach Show. It's your boy Bro Troy, aka Mr. Y4C, but better known as Coach DJ, and we are here live at Juiced. As you can see, must be pretty good because mine's gone and half on the floor.
That's right.
My fault though, my fault. But please come by 3301 Rock Quarry Road, Suite 102 to get your all natural, no fake, no preservatives, no powders. None of that. All greens are natural, and it preserves and heals your body. Make sure you come check out Juiced. I'm curious though, because we got a pretty drink right here. Like this one right here looks real pretty. I don't know what's in it, but tell me about that. What you got going on there, Ashley?
Well, there were so many great choices, but I wanted something really sweet.
Okay.
So I think it's pineapples, mangoes, strawberries, and what else we have? Pineapples, mangoes, strawberries, and peaches.
And peaches?
All of my favorite things.
Now, do you have a name for this drink?
I say we just call it All Rise.
All rise. Right here
And-
for the Honorable Judge Ashleigh.
Wait, she has
Parker.
her own. Wait, she has her own.
I'm telling you, man, we in the shooting, but she gets her own smoothie. Like, where they do that at? Right? Come holler at the folks here at Juiced off Rockaway Road, man.
And get a nice cut while you're here, too.
Oh, yeah, you get a fresh cut, too? So you telling me you can preserve your body, heal your body, and look good?
And pick up some nice
And pick up some merch for some black entrepreneurs right here at 3301 Rockaway Road, Suite 102. So I'm curious, actually. We've talked about a lot, but all of us, in one way, shape, form, or fashion, have children, whether that's through kids or animals, right? So, nonetheless, I'm just curious, how has motherhood really enhanced your perception on life? Like, how has that added value to your life? What have you drawn from that?
Oh my goodness, it has absolutely changed my life because not only am I a mother biologically, but I'm also a bonus mom. So my bonus daughter,
that.
my daughter is 11.
Yeah.
I've been in her life since she was 7-8 months old.
Wow.
My son, my oldest birth son, biological son, he is 5, about to be 6 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then my baby is 9 months old.
Yeah.
So 3 kids at 3 different schools doing 3 different things, at 5 years apart, all of them. I mean, you talk about enhancing life. I mean, it is loud in there, but it is amazing. I mean, just to be able to see them grow and just see how I'm growing as a mom and how I'm changing and how I'm adapting and my perception of the world. And I mean, I already had a passion for kids anyway, but like now I really have a passion for kids because I'm like, these are the most precious things that God ever gives us and asks us to train them up in the way that we should go, knowing that we're not perfect by any means.
That's right.
But man, we try our best, and they are just so innocent and just bundles of joy, and to see some of the situations that they are in that they can't even help, that's outside their control, due to parents and due to poor decisions and due to generational curses. It just really makes me even more passionate to make sure that we reach those children as well, so that they have every opportunity to learn and grow.
Yeah, so definitely a burden for us. Our children are a burden. That's part of our why and what we do, right? They're not next, they're now.
That's right.
Yeah, so I love it, man. What you got, fellas?
So, social media. You post a little bit. I mean, you tell a little bit about your family, your story, and work. But one thing I really love is that you post about fitness. Talk to us about your fitness journey and kind of like, not only are you in the gym, but you kind of flexing and, you kind of like, I see myself. You see me here, right? But can you talk a little bit on a serious note about how important that is and where that came from?
Well, it wasn't always important to me. It's been important to my husband, and I would see him get up, go to the gym, and that kind of thing. He's like, very subtly, why don't you come?
He don't say it like that, though. I'm sure. Put a bag by the door.
Your knees hurt. Why don't you go to the gym? Maybe it might help you feel better, that kind of thing. So it really wasn't always a big part of my life. And so it wasn't until my son was about 2 years old that I really started to take it seriously and started taking classes and finding the time to do it and realizing how much I needed that for my mental health. I talk all the time about mental health for everybody else, and I'm recommending therapy and ordering therapy for everybody else. And I'm like, man, what am I doing for me? It's self-care is so important. And I started to find that it was my self-care. And the only time I could really do it was earlier in the morning. So it was like 5:30, 5 o'clock I'm getting up, which is usually when we alternate to go. But I just love how I felt afterwards. And then I started to love how I looked and how I felt about myself and the confidence that I was gaining. Because you can look like you have all the confidence in the world when you put on makeup and a wig and whatever else. But, what do you really feel like? And when you have children, your body changes, when you gain 40 pounds and lose 40 pounds, like I've done twice, that's a lot. It's a lot. Skin is doing what it wants to do, and stretch marks are going where they want to go. And one thing about my social media, I'm very transparent about that too. I'm very transparent about my journey, but also I have scoliosis. So my back hurts a lot, especially when I'm pregnant and I gain a lot of weight. I get sciatica and can't sleep and those kind of things. So fitness has been important to me mentally, but also physically, so that I can be my best, so that when I'm serving anybody, whether it's my family, myself, the community, whatever, that I'm at my best. And so that's important to me.
Good stuff, man. What you got, Bruce?
Well, inside the courtroom, I want to get back into that topic. There's a lot of high-profile cases happening at the moment, but I'm curious, what's a case that kind of stuck with you? What's something that you lose sleep over, or just an important moment inside of the courtroom or outside of the courtroom in terms of a tough decision you've had to make?
So there's a couple, and I'll give you two real quick examples. But there was one time very early on when I was a judge, and let me preface this by saying I try very hard not to bring home what happens during the day. I feel like I have to be very careful with that, right? If I have a bad day at work, I try not to bring that home to my family and my kids. Vice versa, my son doesn't want to get out the car in the morning. I can't necessarily bring that to the bench either. So I try to be very careful and very just calculating in the way that I'm doing things, and compartmentalization. That's what I'm looking for. Compartmentalizing things that I hear and see. Yeah. But there was one day I was unable to do that because it was one day that I was in serving in family court, and I had 3 mothers lose custody of their sons, of their children that day. I had one mother that was in a domestic violence relationship with her boyfriend at the time. So that was not a safe situation for the child, and she actually gave the child to her mother. I had another situation with a mother who was on drugs and had been doing heroin in front of the child, and he had been finding the needles and the spoons in the house and that kind of thing. So I had to give that child to his grandmother as well. And then the third situation, it was a young man that clearly had some serious mental health issues, and the mom was like, I don't want to have him anymore. If the dad thinks he can do better with him, then so be it. I'll see him when he's 18. And my son at the time was about 2.5, and I just went home and just held him and just cried, because I just thought about those children and the impact that decisions that are outside of their control are now going to affect their lives forever. Yeah, absolutely. And so that was really difficult. And another difficult decision that I had to make right when I was pregnant, right before I went out on maternity leave. I was serving in our abuse, neglect, and dependency courtroom, which is a specialty courtroom where only 2 judges serve in that. And I had the honor of serving in that courtroom, and had to make some very difficult decisions for newborns and infants that had been in some situations where these children were going to go, what was going to be the situation. A child had died, and trying to figure out what we were going to do with the other children, but also trying to give parents a chance.
Right. That's a sensitive situation, especially when we're talking about making decisions for our youth and our babies. Especially when they're not old enough to even understand what's going on. Like this is a decision that will change the dynamic of their life, and some of them won't even know it until they're 8, 9, or until someone tells them. I think that brings up a great point in our next question. Like, you're doing great work. When it comes to foster care, you recently partnered with Wake County Cost Team, and also Vision RDU is where you attend church. And one of the things that I saw you post about in your transparency is how these children would have to go to their next place with their clothes in a garbage bag. And when we talk about representation, and a sense of pride, right, and knowing your worth and your everything you own is put in a garbage bag. I can care less if it's a clean garbage bag. It's a garbage bag nonetheless. You know, what piece is torn from a child? So with that being said, you have made it your purpose to partner with these individuals in the community to do something great. Tell us more about why that's important to you, how it came about, and how people can help.
No, that's exactly what you said. So when I first took the bench 4 years ago, we have a chief district court judge, and they're the ones that assigns us to courtrooms. And I told our chief judge at the time, he said, you know, where do you want to go? And I said, I want to be in juvenile court. I want to be in our juvenile courtrooms, our abuse and neglect dependency courtrooms, and our juvenile delinquency courtrooms. And he said, okay. He said, well, there's a line. You know, you're brand new. There's a line. And I said, that's fine. But he supported me in allowing me to get trained, which is a 2-year course. It was turned into 3 years because of COVID, to receive my certification so that I could serve in these courtrooms at the highest capacity and level, to receive that extrajudicial certification in juvenile. So I've completed that training, and so now I'll get certified once I'm back into one of those courtrooms, hopefully soon. Letting them know that's my passion. Plug. Hopefully soon. But I've let it be known that's where I wanted to be, you know, the entire time in my entire journey. But during one of those trainings, we learned about that situation. We learned about children having to, it was put yourself in their shoes, right? Sure. And you are literally taking your things and putting them in a trash bag when you're already being uprooted from your family, from your life, from the only thing that you know, possibly in the middle of the night, possibly while you're at school. You don't know, you know, can you imagine that? At whatever age, right? From teen all the way down. And to put that in a trash bag and to put that, how would you feel? You would feel like trash, right? And so, like you said, that self-worth piece is so important, especially whenever you're already feeling like, what's wrong? You don't know you don't know what this kid has seen. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know if they've been molested. You don't know what it is. And so, thankfully, I had been wanting to do this even before the pregnancy. But thankfully, when I got back, I was able to partner with the COS team, which is the Wake County Wake County Health and Human Services, or DPS, or CPS, or however you want to call that. They have a team that really tries to meet the needs of the children that are entering the foster care and kinship care. And they go out of their way to do that. And I said, listen, I'd love to do a suitcase drive. She said, perfect timing, because we are out. They have been trying to do that anyway. They really try to make sure the kids are not ending up those situations to have garbage bags. They said they've done a really great job of trying to prevent that. And so I said, well, I'm one of the 4 leaders of our Women's Life Ministry team, and we dropped a couple bucks and bought 15 bags immediately to give them, since they said they had an immediate need. And now currently continuing to collect those bags for those children so that they will have something.
And that need will always be needed,
always,
right? Like this is a reoccurring thing. So
Absolutely.
This isn't a holiday thing. This isn't a giving season thing. This is something that's reoccurring.
Absolutely.
And can happen all year. So tell the people that are listening, how can they donate to this? How can they either give financially or potentially just drop suitcases off?
Absolutely. So my church is Vision RDU. It is at 5808 Departure Drive in Raleigh, North Carolina, 27616, across from Buffalo Lanes. And they also get your COVID test, and then you can go in from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday to do either one. But also, if you just want to send it directly, you can drop it off at 5808 Departure Drive, Raleigh, North Carolina. Ship it directly, Suite 101. But that's something that you can always do, is to drop those off, and we ensure that it gets to the team so that they have those for the kids. And different sizes as well. Duffel bags, little kids suitcase, big suitcase. They need a variety of whatever. And new. They have to be brand new. And that's what we want. We want our kids to have brand new. Please don't go in your attic. I appreciate that, but give that to Goodwill. These kids, this might be, and it might be the only new thing that these kids have. That might be the only thing that they really have and have ever gotten in their life. So we really want to make sure that they get the best of the best.
That's
so.
absolutely, we deserve that.
And I will say, I know that this is airing in December, but there's just a lot of opportunities throughout the year that those suitcases do go on sale. So we'll take them anytime.
Absolutely. And on Vision Church website, is there more information?
Yes. So Vision Church, visionrdu.com is the website, and so you can definitely go on there and get more information, or you can message me on any of my social media platforms at Judge Ashleigh. So happy to.
Please, let's get those suitcases for the babies and support. I want to say on camera, on behalf of the Bro Coach Show, that we will be donating to this cause. And making sure that these babies have a small piece of pride.
Absolutely.
We overlook that, right? We go on vacation, we just grab one. Let's get it.
Which one?
And we're talking about moving homes and just being uprooted. So please, let's get behind that, man. So if you're just checking into the Bro Coach Show, we are sitting here at Juiced at 3301 Rock Quarry Road, Suite 102. Enjoying, mine was good. Yeah, it really was. Enjoying these great treats that enhance your body and give you cell life.
Never had a smoothie with collard greens before.
You got what in yours?
Yeah, this is the soul food. So it's got everything you could think of. Plus collard greens.
I heard somebody had one with sweet potato pie. Like, I got excited about that thing. That was my inner fat boy right there. But so we've talked about fitness. We've talked about purpose. We've talked about marriage. We've talked about kids and motherhood.
Which I do have a quick question.
What you got?
My mom was a nurse. And, anytime I faked an illness, I had to go through the gambit of medicine. She gave me a needle once. I was like, all right, I'm okay. I'm okay. You've got 2 young kings in your household. I'd imagine that they can't lie to you easily. How does you being a judge impact and shape not just your kids, but even your husband and the household?
Do you make them say your honor?
Yeah.
Do they walk around like your honor?
I like a good argument every now and then, but I'd have to imagine it doesn't go very far with you.
No. First of all, this is such a great loaded question. All right. First of all, I hate arguing in the house. I don't even want to argue. Like, you do it all day. Like, you hear it all day. You hear contention. Like, you don't even want that. And my husband is super laid back. Like, super laid back. So that's one good thing about it. Because I'm the extrovert. He's the introvert. That kind of thing. But as far as the kids, so Isaac, the middle one, that right there is me. He beat me in an argument at age 3.
Wow.
Like his argument made complete. I was like, and Daniel was like, "How does it feel to argue with yourself?" I was like, "Pretty bad, actually."
Honest though.
And he is me in just little boy form, and it's amazing to see it. It's sometimes difficult to see yourself emulated in your child, but the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that. But he's super smart, and he's a trip. He's a trip. If you ever meet Isaac, he is the life of the party. He's the life of the show, right? But he's amazing. And the baby is just like the most chillest baby, and then Yana's just like her dad, and she's a sweetheart, the sweetest girl. But as far as the argument piece, nobody calls me Your Honor off of the bench. I literally step off the bench. I'm like, I'm Ashleigh. I take that robe off. I'm Ashleigh, right? Like I'm off work. It's 5:00. It's Ashleigh, right? That's it. Like I said, it's a title. It's a job. It can go and it's one way or the other. So to me, it's not anything I carry with me.
But so many people get trapped in that title, right? What is it? Because you already mentioned God many a times, and we can all see you centered. Is that where it comes from?
Absolutely from God, because he's the one that gave it to me. He's the one that can take it away at any point, and it's literally a title. Like that's literally it. And I said, God, if you give me this platform, I'm going to use whatever amount of time that you give me to make the biggest difference that I can make. Yeah. But understanding one day it may go. And I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay with whatever he has for me. I said, God, use me in the way that I'm here for your purpose. Like I said earlier, I want to be a prosecutor. I actually want to do a lot of things. I want to be a doctor. I want to do a whole lot of different things. God said, I live to do what he's called me to do and the purpose that he has for my life. So as long as I'm fulfilling that and making the biggest impact I can make in that period of time, so that at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, he says, good, well done, good and faithful servant. That's all Ashley's here to do, right? Is make that point to him and serve him. But yeah, that's the most important thing to me. But I'm thankful for that piece of the centering and understanding that he is the one that gives me this.
Yeah. Now I gotta ask now, because you done shot my little TV question down. So I'm just curious now that I'm rethinking everything that we've talked about. So you don't watch hospital shows, you don't watch courtroom shows. So I gotta ask, what do you watch?
Documentaries, some just random shows. Netflix. I binged a lot of whatever on Netflix. If it's like number one and people are talking about it, I'm like, all right,
I'll try it.
I'll try that out.
Seen that Colin Kaepernick?
I haven't seen that yet. I haven't heard that was really good.
Boys really sit down and
Yes, I really want to watch that.
I watched that in one night.
I appreciate that. I'm glad that he's we won't dig into that, but it was reassuring.
That's good
to see that they gave him a platform to really tell his story.
That's really good. That's really good.
All right. Well, Judge, you told us that you're transparent. You use social media as a platform to share your story, let people know who you are, to inspire. Well, we did a little research. Okay. So all of these pictures you've already shared with the world, but we're going to bring the picture up. We want you to take a look at it, and I want you to let us know why you shared it, why it was important to you, and a little bit more about what's going on in the picture. So we're going to start with this one.
All right. So that was when I went to Kenya with the American Council for Young Political Leaders. So that's an organization out of D.C. that's been going on for, I think, 50-some years. For a really long time, where they gather young political leaders, hate to say that part, but they gather them and take them on an exchange. You have to be under 40 years old, and they take you on an exchange. And that was the first time they had gone to Ethiopia. Wow. And only the second time they had ever gone to Kenya. And so I was blessed with that opportunity to go in November of 2019, and it was just absolutely amazing to go to the motherland. I had never been. To see us in positions of power. That's right. To go and interact with their senators and their legislatures in Kenya, and the same thing, and interact with judges out of Ethiopia, and I got to talk to them about our system and how their system works, and dealing with corruptness and those kind of things, and being paid and bought, and how they don't want to do that, but this is kind of the situation. They had never had elections there. It was phenomenal to learn, and also to have that exchange with those countries, and just something that I would never forget.
Wow, that's awesome. And we're all traveling men. Like we've all had the privilege of doing such. So I have to ask, just as a follow-up, what's the dopest place you've ever been so far?
It was that year, 2019 was awesome, because I went to Israel, Costa Rica, Kenya, and Ethiopia.
Excuse me, I need to step my game up.
Oh, awesome! Yes. My uncle and my aunt moved down there, so my dad and I went down there and got to see them. So that was really cool. They retired down there, and Israel was amazing to be baptized and see Galilee, and to go down to the places that Jesus walked, and to see Calvary was really impactful.
Surreal.
Yeah, and that was through APAC, and that was black political leaders from along the East Coast. So it was 2019 was a great year pre-COVID.
Right. Yeah. We call it BC before COVID.
Before COVID. Before
So
COVID.
tell us more about this picture here. Why it was important to you to share?
So this right here was the "Don't Touch My Crown" discussion, sip and paint. So in 2016 maybe. I'm not sure what year that, 2016, 2017 maybe. Myself and I might have been a judge. I was a judge at the time, so it had to be 2018. So a young lady and myself that was a DA, district attorney, got together because we really wanted to talk about natural hair. Natural hair being professional. When I was a DA, I had my hair in a straight wig and relaxed and black. Being the only black female, I didn't want to stand out any more than I had to. When I went to the Attorney General's office, I saw other black female attorneys and their hair in locks and dreads and different natural styles and fros and everything. And I said, man, I want to do that too. And so I immediately, as soon as I became a full-time, just cause firing employee for the state of North Carolina, I cut all my hair off, big chopped, and dyed it blonde, and went natural. Yep.
All the hair.
All my hair. Blonde. I got pictures. All my hair blonde.
I didn't see those.
It's on there.
I'm slacking. I missed that one.
It's on there. So I've been natural now, I guess, 7 years, and it has been amazing. So long story short, when I went back to the courthouse, it was like full circle, right? So now it's 2017. It's full circle. The very first day on the bench, I wore my hair in a natural state. In my wash and go state, because I wanted the other black female attorneys and anybody else that was coming in to see that black hair is beautiful and to see it represented from the bench and to know that they should be comfortable in their hair. After that, I started writing articles about it, and I wrote an article about it for all the lawyers in Wake County. It actually just won an award, a national award through county bars, I guess, or something like that. Which, but in that, I told them about, like, what is a wash and go? Like, I gave them a glossary. Like, what is a blowout? Like, what does natural hair mean, And I had a courtroom full of black females. It was, I think, 7 or 8 of us all lined up in the courtroom that were black attorneys, and our hair in natural states and different natural states, dreads and locks and everything, and just trying to normalize black hair. So I partnered with the Crown Campaign to raise awareness to stop hair discrimination in the workplace and those kind of things. Like I said, I wear my hair in braids, cornrows. Every month it's something different. And I love that, and I want people to see that, so we normalize professionalism in black women's hair and how beautiful it is.
That's amazing.
Good stuff. So if you're listening, if you're checking in, it's all right. Give me a second. We're just checking in with the Bro Code Show. We're talking with the Honorable Judge Ashleigh Parker-Dunston here at 3301 Rock Quarry Road, Juiced, right here in Southeast Raleigh, 27610. We're going to take a real quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. This show is sponsored by Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza. Make sure to visit your local Papa Murphy's Pizza retail store near you and load up on fresh, made-to-order, gluten-free take and bake pizzas, desserts, and salads. Now make sure to use that mobile app for faster and to earn additional savings. Tune in next week as we'll have Renaissance Man, Durham City Councilman, entrepreneur, just all-around dope dude, Leonardo Williams. Tap in to the Bro Code.
Heaven's in my peripheral, I see it from an angle. I had 99 problems. I ain't got one now, the hood's still crazy. Police getting gunned down, the devil on the loose. From sun up to sundown, these kids ain't fighting no more. Not even one round, I don't condone violence. Ain't the one to riot, I've been fighting with the flesh so long, I'm getting tired. And God said I kept prolonging what he desired. I was busy throwing rocks at the pen, fighting Goliath. It was me against the giants, a cat against the lions. They booked me for robbery, plus I had a couple priors. But everything changed on that day I met Kaya. She the best I ever had, so of course I had to wife her. I hope you didn't catch that, if so don't judge me. I be spreading the message.
Welcome back to the Bro Code Show. It's natural ingredients to increase your body and make you feel good and glow. Right here, Juiced. So with that being said, we were talking about pictures, Judge Ashleigh. We got one more for you. Tell us more about this picture here, why you shared it, and what does it mean to you?
So that is Isaac, the middle baby, with all of his toys, and he's in the bed, and he is just knocked. I mean, the lights are on, and he is just knocked out. He's got his hand over him. I mean, that's just how you sleep. I think I said then how you sleep when you don't have a care in the world, but now they say how you sleep when you don't have bills to pay. Like, that's how you sleep. I mean, just the peacefulness of our children, right? And just all his little toys around him, and him just feeling safe with his toys, and just safe in his bed. And I mean, that's what all kids deserve.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, is just to be kids and to have peace in their lives. And it's just so many that don't, and it's why it's incumbent upon us to do their work. For those kids too.
I gotta ask, as I tell my children, they fight sleep. So when nap is a bad word.
Yes.
Like, you can't say that word right there. They're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Well, I told them, I said, look, you become older, you're gonna appreciate this now.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean,
that's right.
You gonna search out 20 minutes of your life that you could just take that. So
that's
appreciating this, like, I looked at that, it was so peaceful. And as an adult, it was like, man, I want to sleep like that.
I know.
That's the type of sleep that I look forward to. So that's encouraging, man. And you're right, the babies do deserve that. They do. That's a sense of, like you say, not a care in the world. They haven't experienced fear yet.
Right.
They haven't really experienced disappointment to a certain degree.
Right.
So they can sleep peaceful.
We gotta preserve the innocence.
That's the word.
We've got to preserve the innocence in kids. I tell parents all the time, if they're, having some type of domestic dispute or something like that. I told a guy earlier today, I said, look, at the end of the day, we're setting examples for our children, for what they see, what they hear, and how to be in relationships with people, right? You're setting the example as a father when you're yelling at mom or putting your hands on her or doing whatever else. Mom is doing the same thing by setting that example for that. And at the end of the day, your kids are going to grow up. We have one chance to show them and demonstrate for them the right way to do it. So you need to ask yourself if being together is more important to you or being a better parent is more important to you. And those are just kind of the real conversations I try to have with people, that come in my courtrooms, because at the end of the day, I'm hoping that we can effectuate that change for those kids so they can maintain their innocence. Knowing that as parents, we're not perfect. I've yelled in front of my kids before. You don't want to, you don't mean to. But just being cognizant of that, and making sure that we don't put ourselves in that situation or allow ourselves to get outside of our character in front of them.
How do we keep them innocent in a social media? It's all right in front, because none of us grew up that way, right? It's so much information now. How do you preserve that?
Well, first of all, I think we need to be careful about the appropriate time to, number one, let them on social media, and also the appropriate time to give them cell phones. Some things are very easy, and sometimes we make the excuse that, like, oh, these kids, need a cell phone because they're going to be away from me, or they're going to be here, they're going to be there. If you're not going to take the time to monitor those cell phones, do not give those kids those cell phones, please, because seriously, they're able to get on there and do whatever else. You don't know what they're saying. You don't know what they're doing. You need to be checking that constantly. There are apps that you can monitor not only where they are, but also what they're putting on there. But also with my daughter, which we gave her a phone and that same night got taken away, I made her sign a contract. I had gone online and I found a social media contract, and it had things in there that talked about, you will not bully anybody, you will not let anybody bully you, you will tell me. You will not post any nude pictures or send any nude pictures, and you will not receive any nude pictures because it is criminal. And I explained to them that you can go to jail for sending these type of pictures of yourself or receiving them of anybody else or asking for them, etc. and so forth. It laid it all out. The phone stops at this point. You turn the phone into me, it charges in my room. You get the phone back at this time. On the weekends is this time. There was literally, you don't watch these type of things. You don't watch inappropriate things. Like, literally, unless you're going to sit there and be, the police on your kids with their phones and their computers and stuff, don't give it to them.
Yeah. Accessibility. That was the downfall when it came to our kids, because the information highway gains a new HOV lane every month. It just continues to get broader and broader and broader.
And Lord willing, my kids will go up in the metaverse. They'll be in the virtual world all day, every day.
Yeah. And it's hard. Even like the school computers don't have they can get on YouTube. And that's another thing. You gotta be careful about that. You gotta be careful about YouTube. These people are making cartoons that are not for kids. So they look like a regular cartoon. You think your kids watching SpongeBob, and all of a sudden somebody starts cussing and killing somebody. It is crazy what is out there. So it's hard as a parent. Obviously, you can't sit there with your kid, all the time. But unless you are willing to, like I said, really monitor that, don't give it to them until they can. They can get a flip phone and text you and call you. They still exist. They sure do.
They do.
They sure do. A man had one go off in my courtroom just yesterday.
I know you were looking like,
Give them 500 minutes. For real? 3 nights a weekend.
They're going to mess street cred with that flip phone, right? I love it though. That's
good. We've asked you a lot of questions, and we appreciate you coming and spending this time to just chop it up with the bros. But we have a segment, and it's called Flip the Script. So in this segment of Flip the Script, now you get to ask us questions, and you can ask us anything you like, whether it be individually or collectively. So you have the mic.
All right. So I met you guys several years ago because we had our law day at the courthouse. Right, and that law day event we have every year. We have not been able to have it the last 2 years because of COVID, but knock on wood, we'll be able to get that back, where we bring the kids to the courthouse and they get to see minority police officers and chiefs and engage with them. They get to see minority lawyers that look like them and ask them questions and engage with them. They get to do a mock trial and get to pretend like they're in the courtroom. And they get to go to the jail and see it and see the food and see the clothes and all that. So my question for you all was, what was the most impactful part of that event to you when you brought the boys?
And I think this is before. So YM4C started in 2017, and I've known Bro Smith since we started. So to answer your question, I was the only one there.
Okay.
I was the only one there, so I can really be the only one to answer this question. So I got it. But, as a servant leader, representation does matter, and opportunity and exposure play a huge part in shaping the minds and the hearts of our children. So for me, it was watching their faces. Like the experience I got, or the girth I got, was the experience of them going into the courtroom when they had the folded clothes and looked at the food that is served, and they were able to touch it. Like they were really able to say, "Man," and unfold it. And I was intentional in saying, "Hey, turn around, let me put it on your back." I said, "Ooh, this fits you." And watching their being intentional about watching their expression when I say that, to see if it has gotten to a place where they feel normalized, which is unfortunate because it's been glorified.
Absolutely.
So for me, it was the experience of them being in it. Then we went into the jail. They were able to engage with those that were in there. They were able to go into the cell. So for me, it was watching the impact that it made on the boys that we brought. I think we had 12 young men. That was the first time I met you. I remember when we were coming back outside, they had the paddy wagon, and the kids got a chance to get into the paddy wagon. And then we crossed the street and went to the courtroom or the jail part. I don't remember, but I know we crossed the street. So I appreciated the whole experience. And another one that added value is when we were able to go on the panel. I think Sharif and Judge Christensen and it was a few other I don't recall that were there and were very transparent about their story. Like they would share true impactful stories, and that's what I appreciated most. When I remember and I recall now, there was great representation of us too.
Oh yeah.
There was, and I don't know if that was intentional or
I
figured that. I figured that, and diverse men and women, that look like us. So regardless of who was there, as far as gender for our youth, they could take something from it. So for me, I would love to see things like that more often. I mean, obviously doing it the way it's done is very impactful, but maybe a quarterly. Where now more kids can have that opportunity, or we could just add layers to a kid that saw it the first quarter but maybe didn't get it.
Yeah.
So we got to add another layer and be a little bit more intentional.
That's good.
Just one? Oh, okay. I was about to say, don't let me shoot you now.
I do this for a living. I ask questions for a living. Okay, so for you, what do you think? Because I sit up high, I guess, right? And I try to get in the community, but I'm not as entrenched as you are. What do you see as the biggest challenge for our black males right now?
I would say, first of all, understanding who we are and our power. One of the things that really hurts me is when I'm dealing with other black males and there's this thing when I'm around my black males, it's like, yo, I know you, even if I don't. right? And so just the way we represent each other, I think if we just really understood that and worked on that relationship, I think a lot of things would change, because once we stand up and understand our power, and that's why we do this work, that's why we go into schools, I think it would change the game when they say, wait a minute, they're unified now, right? I can't get at them individually, they're unified. And so that's the biggest thing I would love to see.
And I love that, because I know that I've seen the dynamic change for black women whenever we started encouraging each other and started getting, you go sis, like, just loving on each other. I mean, limitless, right? Black girl magic, hashtag black girl magic, hashtag black queen. I mean, celebrating each other instead of bringing each other down has really impacted the black woman and has impacted our mental health, and just really made us feel good about ourselves with having that encouragement from our sisters. So I think you're exactly right to see black men to understand their power, understand their worth, and that dynamic I think is fantastic. And I think it's important, definitely in the courtroom, for men to know their power as a father, know their rights as a father, knowing what they can do, and that you can't let anybody pull away the fact that you are 50% of this and you have just as many rights as somebody else. So I love the work that you are doing for our youth. And so for you,
I'm scared. It's getting deeper and deeper. I'm like, oh man.
Okay, so you're how old?
39.
39 years old.
Yeah.
You interact with children who are about what age?
7 to 17.
Okay. What do you think is, how do you relate to them being at 39 but looking young, right?
Yeah.
Don't tell him that. don't tell him that. I'm sorry.
And looking young,
Right.
how do you find yourself adapting since you've been in this since you've been in with the group and in the code? How do you see yourself adapting to these young people to relate to them?
Yeah, well, you hit on the youngness. It's a gift and a curse. I'll be out in the basketball court, and you wouldn't be able to tell them from me. They're taller than me and everything.
Yeah.
So, right there, it gives me an instant connection. I'm a kid at heart. I still play video games and try to keep up with music as much as I can. And there's a lot of young this, young that, little this, little skis, dirt, all these folks. So I try to keep up with the music, and that's what makes me, or I feel allows me to connect with them. The tough part is making sure they understand I'm a man now. I'm not your someone you just push around or disrespect. Still call me Mister, even though I look like such and such. So that's what allows me to connect. It allows me to live through them and keep my youthfulness through them.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I just want to say once again that I love and support everything that you guys are doing. I've seen it firsthand in my ability to come out and speak when you give me opportunities to talk to them. But just from what I see from the courtroom, our youth need you. And our young men specifically need you. And I just appreciate you filling in that gap and filling in that need. You may be the only black, as y'all know, the only black male or the only person that they can see of authority that has been in their life, that voice that they need to hear because they're tired of hearing mamas or whoever, grandma or auntie or whoever else. So I just thank you for letting God use you in this way and continue to push forward and make your platform known to touch as many men as possible, young men as possible. So
absolutely, we appreciate that. The best is yet to come. Absolutely. Now we don't want to. Did you have any more? Do you have any back pocket? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Right, absolutely.
And we can call the Ashleigh Code Show.
You already got a drink. I mean, why not, right? So we appreciate you. Those sentiments share the same way. We're here to encourage each other. This is a fist, not a finger. We all collectively make this world better and to make it a better place than how we found it. That's our job. And we've really encouraged and received that. When you acknowledge that and live your life not just as a mantra but as a lifestyle, that power that you talk about, right? And really letting that resonate with you. And the kids feel that. They feel that. One way or another, they're going to feel it. So do some push-ups. So anyway, nonetheless, we appreciate you too. Thank you for coming on the Bro Code Show. We have a segment though, right? So I'm curious. Did you enjoy the experience?
Absolutely.
Was this dope?
Of course.
Right?
Always.
And I can only imagine there'll be other people that are in your circle that may enjoy this experience too.
Okay.
Well, this segment is called Calling Them Out. So this is your opportunity to look into that camera right there, and I want you to call out 2 people at least that are in your circle that would appreciate a Bro Code experience. Let them know.
Definitely Judge Baker and Judge McCullers are 2 newest black male judges on the bench. I think would be fantastic. They are my brothers, and so excited to have them with me, and I think they would be excellent.
Awesome. So you look right here. Look, Judge Baker, right here. Bro Code Show. Judge McCullers, That's the homie, Dame. Yeah, Dame.
Exactly.
Dame, we need you on the Bro Code Show, man. Holla, let's make this even better. And I think Judge Baker is bald too, ain't he?
He is.
So you can part of this bald head greatness. Let's get it.
Y'all
Right here, we
everything.
need you on the Bro Code Show. Well, Judge Ashleigh, we appreciate you. You know, we've celebrated your 4-year anniversary. The best is yet to come. Your 9-year anniversary. Daniel, what's up? Keep being the cool dad too, man.
Yeah.
As long as they ain't bleeding, it's okay. But we appreciate you. We wanted to take this opportunity to give you your roses, but we're not done yet.
Okay.
So before we started this conversation, I asked you a question. You can describe yourself in one word. What would it be? And you told me resilient. I think, and the fellas have talked about this, that word is a wonderful word. It speaks volume, especially of what has been going on in the last 18 months. Like, that's something that you really had to divine and work on, because we've been rubbed the wrong way, regardless of your age. And we want to do something special for you. So we know that word is one of your words, and Bro Kurt wants to share a gift from the bros.
Yeah, so my individual brand is called You Matter. And I created that in 2018 because I saw so many people hurting. And I don't want a person not to fulfill their life purpose simply because they don't believe in themselves. And it's just not okay. So You Matter it is. I go into schools, I speak. But a tool I use, and I could not give it to you, is I use these $2 bills. We write You Matter on it. And so I use it, and we are trying to do 1 million people.
We will do 1 million people.
That's
We're
right.
going to do it.
That's
You
right.
say it again.
We
will.
do
1 million people, all 50 states. But we have one for you. On the back it says Bro Code Show. We wrote your resilient word, and we want you to have it. You can put it in the office with all the
That's where it's going.
Right?
Yeah.
With all the other
I'm
awards.
gonna laminate it.
I have it. I use it as a bookmark.
I love that. Thank you.
Awesome,
Thank you
awesome.
guys. Thank you so much.
$2 bill is unique. You're unique.
rare.
It's rare.
It is rare.
And that's a symbol of such.
That's right.
So I can only
you.
hope the next time she does an interview, when they ask her, what is a gift or something special that has been given to you amongst all of your service years, that $2 bill.
$2 bill, my resilient
Right here on the
$2
Bro
bill.
Code Show. Shout out to Judge Baker, Judge McCullers, and anyone else that's dope. Come get your $2 bill.
We got one for you.
On the Bro Code Show.
Love it.
So with that being said, 90 seconds or less. What's next for Judge Ashleigh?
Whatever God has for me.
Straight like that.
3 seconds.
Yeah, I mean straight like
That's all I
that.
got.
Hey man, is His glory our story?
That's it.
So with that being said, we always close the show with something positive. Tonight will be no different. I think it's timely too, because the word that was used was resilient. And the quote says, life doesn't get easier or more forgiving. We get stronger and more resilient. It's your boy, Bro Troy, a.k.a. Mr. YM4C. And we are the Bro Code.
Amen. Away from me.
Thank you guys. Thank y'all so much.
Straight like that.
Just gave them some bad news. Police found the drugs that were stashed in the bathroom. Not only that, but it's court date approaching us fast too. So tell me what to do. Lord, you only seek the truth. If you want to bear fruit, then it needs to abide in you. If you seek transformation, it happens in solitude. Since I never had a shot, God threw me the alley-oop. I believe I can fly. Let me mingle with the angels. Heaven's in my peripheral. I see it from an angle.
Tune in next week as we'll have Renaissance man, Durham City Councilman, entrepreneur, just all around dope dude, Leonardo Williams. Tap in to the Bro Code.
Heaven's in my peripheral. I see it from an angle.